Friends, thanks so much for checking out this video. This is one in a series of Criterion videos putting out on the channel. And I'm excited about this one because it's once again, I get to talk to my friend Ryan from Movies with Ryan. How's it going, man?
It is going. It is nighttime and I am tired. So I can't wait to do this.
I was telling somebody the other day, I recorded another one of these and they were like, they were, I think, feeling like pressure of like this, make sure this is done really well. And I was like, oh man, it's totally fine. Like this is the end of my day. Let's just talk movies. It's all good. I don't, yeah, just, yeah. This
Content
is
is
relaxing.
content. It's a
Absolutely.
crapshoot, but it's content.
Absolutely. Well, man, how the sale? Are you looking forward to this Criterion sale? Were you, yeah.
I was, then I started a new job and I'm kind of backing off a little bit. There's like 10 things I really, really want to pick up. And it's a lot of the newer releases, especially a couple of the things that's coming out this month. And I think I'm just only going to maybe buy 10. I'm
Cool.
going to try to be good this sale and not go like 20 or 30. So quality over quantity, which it's Criterion. So it's all quality, but
It is. Yeah,
we'll see.
I'd started with, I thought my max was going to be 5. And then I started having conversations like this with other friends and watching videos. And so it's bumped up to 8 now. And hopefully, I think I may still keep it at 5, but the list is growing and I fully expect it to grow after our conversation tonight. So
Yeah, and with Black Friday at the end of the month too, like I know my Mega Replay is going to have sales, so it's kind of like budgeting that money for that sale and then trying to like be good on the Criterion sale. It's going to be a little difficult.
the man, all your Mega Replay videos, I'm just like, I would love to visit that place.
Yeah, and I was in there last weekend and they've got a huge pile behind the counter again. So they're waiting for their end of the month sale. So I can't wait to see what they have in there. I've seen a couple Criterion poking out in there. So
Really?
hopefully it's good.
Do you have to drive like quite a while to get to that place?
No, it's like it takes me 10 minutes to get to work and it's probably like another 2 to 3 minutes past my work. So it's not very far away at all.
I'd probably be there every single day, man. Like just like that. It eats like there was one time at the Goodwill, there's a Goodwill that's maybe a 1.5 minute drive from my house. And they had this enormous shopping cart just overflowing with movies. And I saw it there and I asked one of the workers, I was like, hey, by any chance is that coming out today? And they're like, no, we haven't priced it yet. And I know they don't price it. They literally just pull it out there whenever. And I went every day for a week and a half and they just left it near the door so people could see it. And it killed me. And so I did get there shortly after I got put out one day and found some gold. But what you see when you showed video of what they have behind there, sometimes I'm just like, I don't know. Yeah. I couldn't stop myself from going every single day.
And I've gotten in good with the manager. He kind of knows who I am. I don't think he knows I do YouTube yet, but
okay.
Whenever he gets lots of boutiques in, because there's been apparently 2 people selling a bunch of boutiques off, they're like, hey man, I've got a stack here. You want to look at it? And I'm like, oh yeah, please. So he's apparently a big collector too. So I've got a little bit of competition in that.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah. When you mentioned the Black Friday sales, I haven't seen anything for like Walmart's, Target's for movies yet. So I'm curious if some of them maybe aren't doing it this year.
Yeah. There was apparently that flash sale from Amazon and Best Buy yesterday that lasted for like all 45 minutes or something until I guess stock sold out. But yeah. Yeah,
I refrained. I did not participate in that yesterday. I wanted to, but I did not.
Yeah.
So
I didn't. I kind of felt bad because I got my order from Groove In when they had that 2 for 32 on 4Ks, and 2 of the things I bought were on sale yesterday for like $9.99. I'm like,
oh no way!
So yeah, it happens.
The Batman I still haven't picked up, so that one was interesting to me. I know I actually did. I don't know if it was on the sale or not, but I did pick up. I did grab one. That's not true, but I grabbed 2 Criterions and I threw that in with it because it was $7.99. The Interstellar 4K I did grab.
Oh yes.
So
the 4K of Interstellar looks beautiful.
Does it really?
Yes.
Awesome. I can't wait.
Probably my second favorite space movie, I would say.
Okay, cool.
Moon's the first. Have you watched that yet?
I have seen it, but I need to own it. So
okay.
Yeah, that's one that's on my list of films I got to pick up.
All right.
Cool. Well, friends, this is going to be a conversation with Ryan. When I think of fans of Asian cinema, Ryan's literally the first person that comes to mind. And I always enjoy seeing the films you pull and ones you recommend. and we got to chat about a couple of them. And so I am looking forward to seeing what you pull. So we're going to have 5 honorable mentions and then 5 recommendations for the Criterion. One of the things I did want to ask you, 2 questions actually, before you give me your list.
Right.
One is, you mentioned there's maybe 10 titles. What's like one title kind of near the top of the list for you?
Sound of Metal. I never got to watch it when it was on Netflix or whatever, and I've been waiting for it to come out, and I've been refraining to buy it because I'm wanting to buy it, half price. You can't beat $25 for a 4K, but that is the number one on my list. And then Malcolm X is the second one because I've never owned it. The Blu-ray was always hard to find, and now that they're releasing it, I can't wait to own that either.
Nice. Awesome. Cool. And then related to, again, our conversation, I know you have a massive collection of Asian cinema. Was there like a specific film that kind of sparked that you just like, you opened your world up to this? Or was it like you grew up and in your house it was on all the time? Or like, how did that happen?
No, it really was. It came from my dislike of horror as a kid. I just really never got into horror movies. And then Karate Kid came along. Loved it. I wanted to do martial arts. I mean, they started popping up all over the place. And then Jackie Chan's Police Story. I think I rented a VHS of it and watched it. And I fell in love immediately with Jackie Chan. And then just like John Woo, Hard Boiled, The Killer, stuff like that, that early 90s action stuff. And that's just the martial arts and all that has really, from there on, got me into it. So it really just came from my disdain of horror movies, sort of.
That's cool. It's probably, what's funny is I never thought of it that way, but I also am not like a big horror guy. And what I am passionate about is like 30s and 40s, like screwball comedies, which is like the polar opposite of a horror movie. Everything in the universe is fine in a screwball comedy.
And nothing against people that collect horror. I mean, it's a great genre, but I've noticed a lot of people that do collect horror are strictly horror fans. Like, sure. I mean, it's just nonstop horror. I mean, there's people that dabble in other stuff, but that seems to be like the dominant thing. And that's just what I steered clear of.
Cool. Well, that's interesting. Yeah. When I knew we were going to chat, I was like, I need to ask him where this came from because I know you're a huge fan. So
yes.
Well, cool, man. Well, why don't you run through the list, your honorable mentions, and then your 5 recommendations?
Yeah, we'll swing through the five honorable real quick. And the first one's probably going to surprise people why it's not actually in my top 5, but Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai.
Yeah.
Yes, Akira is known for his samurai stuff. This is a must own. It's got, I mean, just for the bonus features alone, it's like this whole huge section is worth it. But it's a 207 minutes, was that 3 hours and 27-minute long movie.
Crazy.
The rewatchability on this is not high, but what it inspired and all that afterwards, I mean, everybody's got to see it. I highly recommend it. This is a great release. A movie that came out this year on Criterion, and I just giggle every time I even think about this, but it's Johnny Toe's Throwdown. Basically, it's about 3 characters that kind of run into each other, some owe money, and this guy basically just wants to throw down with everybody. He's like into jujitsu. He bets everybody he runs into that he can take them down, and it's a kind of like a crime thriller movie, but it's just got the jujitsu style martial arts in it, and it's just funny. The guy thinks he can beat everybody. I laugh every time I see it.
What year is that one from?
That is, man, now you're going to ask me to read in the back. 2004.
Okay, cool.
This one, 1959. Should I be snobbish? I guess I should probably be saying the spine numbers on these. Yasujiro Ozu. So Ozu, he's very, very famous Japanese director. Good Morning. Little post-war family drama about 2 kids that want a television. They want to get into the westernized world, watch TV. Their parents refuse, so they go on a verbal strike and refuse to talk to the parents. Just a cute little story. Highly recommend it.
Cool.
This one I was blown away with. I just watched this I think maybe 2 weeks ago. It's from 1958. It is a Keisuke Kinoshita movie. It is The Ballad of Narayama. So what got me on this was the set design. It was almost like a stage play, and the stage is dynamic. So as they're walking along, like the fronts and the backs will move and stuff like that. But it's basically about elders that go to the top of Mount Narayama to die after a certain age, and their family have to prep them and take them up there. So it's a family dynamic. It really talks about life and all that. But what just got me was the set design. The dynamic set on this was amazing.
Cool.
I think people should watch that, especially if you like family dynamic stuff. I mean, it's really about, taking care of your elders and, the things they can go through. And the last honorable mention, man, I need to get glasses, even though I'm wearing contacts. 1967, King Hugh, Dragon Inn. Basically reinvented martial arts, introduced the wushu style, and this has got some very, very great camera work that's been imitated since, like the long walk shot, the walking away from camera shots and stuff like that. But the martial arts is awesome in this too. Basically, some thieves are trying to get into an inn, I believe, and it's got to be defended by these two people unlikely come together. But martial arts in this great. King Hugh is a great director. Fantastic movie. Those are 5 honorable mentions.
Well, I've already got written down titles.
Yes.
This is dangerous and exciting at the same time.
And this is one thing about Asian cinema. So, I mean, I know a lot of people get into Criterion for world cinema. The subtitles in these are no different than French or Spanish or Iranian or anything like that. So, and the stories are really deep. There's a lot of lore to them. There's action to them. And I mean, they're really, for me, they're really, really good. But we'll get into the 5.
Cool.
Let's see. Number 5. So I do not in my top 5 have any Akira Kurosawa samurai movies. So to replace that, number 5, Kenichi Akamoto's 1966 Sword of Doom. So basically it's about a samurai that basically just kills anything and everything, and his sword really is bringing doom to him. And the action in this is great. The sword fights are really great, but the morality that the main character has to go through and deal with his own inner demons and the stuff that he does is really, 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 really good. But for number 5, for a samurai movie, I would recommend, outside of Akira Kurosawa, Sword of Doom.
Nice. I've not seen that one.
Toshiro Mifune, which is in almost every single one of Akira's movies, did this movie, and I think it was the first time he stepped out of Akira's movies, and I think it caused a little rift, if I remember the story correctly. So it was different seeing Toshiro in a completely different movie.
Interesting.
All right. Number 4, Quentin Tarantino loves this movie, and if you've seen Kill Bill, you've seen the Lady Snowblood. So this is basically what Kill Bill is based on. It's inspired from, I guess you should say. So basically, the main character and her mother was beaten and raped by 3 men, and she is born in a prison cell because she gets incarcerated. And the mother dies, and she grows up hearing stories of these 3 men, basically what happened to her mother, and she becomes Lady Snowblood, and she seeks revenge. And fight scenes are great. There's not a whole lot of fight scenes, but when they are, they're brutal and intense. There is the over the top bloodshed in this kind of Kill Bill like. This does have part 2 in there, not as good. She ends up going back to jail, and the government's like, hey, we need you to kill somebody. Well, you do it for us and you get your freedom. And action's still good, but the story kind of wavers a little bit. But the first one, if you love Kill Bill, highly, highly recommend watching the original Lady Snowblood.
Cool.
I feel like I'm making highly, highly recommend. Number 3, again, not a whole lot of horror in my collection, but this is probably one of my favorites. And hopefully people know what this is. And that is, man, I can't even read his front name. Obayashi's. I'm just going to go by his last name. Obayashi's house, or
Okay.
Hasu. Um, Basically, this schoolgirl and her friends go to her ailing aunt's house to help her out, and come to find out she's basically a witch, and the house is haunted. And people get eaten by a piano. There's a flying head in a well. There's all sorts of weird, goofy crap going on in this movie. And at first time I watched it, I didn't know if I hated it or really, really, really liked it. But after kind of going back over it and reading other people's thoughts on it and watching some stuff, and I kind of breezed through it again, I love this movie. It's just strange. It's like a horror movie with, like, I don't want to say K-pop thrown in, but like the uppity, happy Japanese stuff in it too. And it's just a really, really, really neat horror movie. So if anybody wants Japanese horror, House.
I've heard it's super trippy.
It is. I've never been on LSD, but I would assume it's similar to being on
Okay.
LSD. It's colorful, it's crazy, stuff is just happening. And like I said, like, there's a person getting eaten by a piano, yet there's like these three schoolgirls just giggling and laughing and like making a sandwich or something. It's like, what is going on in this movie? It's crazy and nuts, but it's really cool.
All right, cool.
Man, number two, I'm breezing through these. So the one Akira Kurosawa movie on here, me and you have talked about this before. I know me and you both love it, and I think
Yeah.
everybody needs to watch it, and that is Akiru. Um, I was watching somebody on YouTube yesterday. Highly recommend this too. Elliot from Blu-rays and Boutiques over in UK. He highly recommended this too. Shout out, name drop, whatever. But basically, he is a government worker. Works for the sewer company, is it, or something like that, or the water company? And come to find out, he is got cancer, stomach cancer, I believe, and he's basically told he's going to die.
Yeah.
So he quits, and goes on a life living spree and meets, I forget what the girl's name is. I still haven't rewatched this since we talked about it. But basically, he learns how to live life and be happy and deal with his death. And I cried at the end of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Probably some of the best writing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
In a movie. And I know a lot of people say High and Low from Akira is even better than this. I still need to check that out, but I will recommend this all day, every day.
Cool. It is such a it's one of I love the movies that I personally am a big fan of movies that are emotional and that make you think. Like at the end of it, you're thinking about your own life, and that's one of those movies.
And he does it in such a way that really, like, I mean, they could say, oh, he's really thinking of his life, but you really feel like you're the character. He makes you get involved, like you feel like you're there with the character, learning about his life, and then you really do start thinking about your life. It's very in depth, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah,
I think
it's very, very good. It's when before I started collecting Criterion, I was on some Criterion Facebook group, and I had made a post and just asking like, hey, I'm just starting out. If I could only pick 3 films, what are the 3? And it was like pretty much across the board, that title kept coming up over and over again. People were like, you got to start your collection with that one.
Good. And I would, if anybody wants to get into Asian movies, especially Kurosawa, even though he's known for his samurai stuff, his dramatic stuff's even better. Like I said, I still need to check out High and Low, but if somebody was going to buy an Asian movie, I honestly, even though it's my number 2, I would tell them to start with that movie.
Yeah.
Because it is just so good.
Yeah.
All right. Number 1, this came out in 2021. And actually, I think the Blu-ray came out this year, but that is Ryosuke Hamaguchi's Drive My Car. Have you seen this yet?
No.
So basically, it's about a guy that is basically hired to direct a play that he has starred in before. He's been like a huge star in it, and he's turned to directing them now. And when he gets to the little countryside village that he's in, they're like, you're not driving your car. We have a driver for you. And it's a little like 16-year-old girl. And of course, he's apprehensive at first, and he doesn't really interact with her, doesn't talk with her. And the movie's like 279 minutes, so it's almost 3 hours long. But they start forming a bond, and you really start learning little things about the main character, the driver, and then the play that he's in. You really start to realize that the play is his life and how it has basically dictated his life.
Okay.
Something tragic happens in this. The one thing I like about it, when he starts auditioning for the play, there is a deaf person, there is an English speaking person, there's a Korean speaking person, and maybe a let's see, Korean, Japanese, English, sign language, Mandarin. There's like 7 different languages spoken between all the people in there, and they fluidly mix it all together, and they create the play through this like language barrier, and it makes it even better. But just the story between the main character and the driver, which I wish I would remember their names, is just fantastic, because it makes you really think about your life and your decisions, because she's young, he's old, and where they can learn from each other and improve their life. Very, very good movie. Highly, highly recommend it, especially if you got 3 hours to watch it. I mean, it is a great.
Oh, it's a 3-hour film. Okay.
Yeah. It's, like I said, 179 minutes. So
Gotcha.
almost 3 hours. Yeah.
Wow. Man. I've got 1, 2, 3. Yeah. I've got a bunch of titles I need to check out.
I know, man, I forget who. James from 2021st Movies. I know he highly recommended this movie too. He was excited to see it. Can't recommend it anymore. But like I said, definitely top 2. Akiru, Drive My Car.
Nice.
Can't go wrong with these if you want to get into Asian cinema.
Well, I've got Akiru, and the other one you held up I have is Good Morning.
Good Morning, yes.
Yeah. And if people are watching who have not gotten into films, whether it be Asian films or like, French films, whatever, where it is subtitled, I know I was pretty apprehensive at first too. And Akiru was actually my first subtitle film that I purchased. And if the movie is an amazing film, it doesn't even matter if there's subtitles. Like if the movie stinks and you have to do subtitles, then yeah, it's the worst. You're watching a terrible movie and you've got to read the entire time. But if it's an amazing film, you're not even cognizant of the fact that you're reading with Akiru and Good Morning. Is there anything you would recommend, like encouraging people to kind of branch out, get out of their comfort zone if they maybe have never tried a film like that?
Put your phone down and watch. I mean, subtitles for me has really made me engage in the movie, because it makes me pay attention. And I've watched enough Asian cinema now. I'm not fluent in any Asian language at all, but the deflections in the voices and the ups and downs, and I don't really have to be knowing exactly what they say, but after a while watching the movies, you really start learning patterns, and it really brings you into the movie even more. And like, you're so used to hearing English language, all your movies. So start listening to a foreign language, you start picking up on little things. It starts engaging you a little bit more in the movie, but just put the phone down and just try it. I mean, the worst that's going to happen is you don't like it. Of course, I wouldn't recommend going out and buying a $20 movie and trying it and then not liking it. I mean, you can definitely watch subtitle stuff online, but just get engaged with it. But if you're buying Criterion already anyway, I would say that 90% of the people are already okay with reading subtitles.
Sure.
And dubs. I don't think I've watched a movie that's been dubbed other than what's been on TV. I think the last movie I watched was a Jackie Chan movie back in like the 90s. It was an English dub, and it was horrible. I mean, just horrible. So I just vowed to never listen to a dubbed movie again. But these offer dubs. Listen to it, watch the movie dubbed first, see how it is, and then watch it with the subtitles. And it may completely change your whole view of the movie. It may help out that way too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's totally worth it. And one of the things I love about Criterion is, I know it's done this for me, is it's expanded my view of film and has opened my eyes up to stuff that I never even, it wasn't close to being on my radar. And I'm so thankful for it. Like, I'm so thankful for becoming aware of specific directors, actors, styles of film shooting that I just never knew of, and love it. Silent film. It just opened my world up to tons of things that I'm so thankful. And Criterion just does an amazing job with that.
Yeah. I haven't broken into silent yet. But you know, when I thought of Asian when I was younger, I thought it was all martial arts and samurai movies. But you know, getting into the Criterion Collection, you know, there's a lot more than just samurais and martial arts in Asian movies. There's a lot of good family dramas, life movies, and stuff like that. But it's even got me expand. I know the last sale I picked up Taste of Cherry, which was Iranian.
Okay.
I picked up the Three Colors trilogy, which was French, stuff that I don't think I would ever have bought otherwise. But because they're on the Criterion, I'm expanding to those regions as well.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. Well, this is great. I have my list of trailers to go watch now.
I want to know how many trailers you've watched in the last year and a half is what I want to know.
Of trailers. Yeah. And already, I mean, I've done a handful of conversations just this last 2 nights now that my back is feeling better, and I've got a ton of stuff I need to watch. And I'm really trying to stick to max 5 titles for the sale, but it's going to be very difficult.
Yeah. And it's granted the way physical media is going, you know, with Best Buy, Target, Walmart downgrading their stuff. As long as Barnes and Noble's still around, or even with the Criterion flash sales, there's going to be other sales. So if you only buy 5 this time,
yeah,
there's another sale coming up in 3 months.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Yeah. And dangerous, but good. Yeah.
It is.
I was talking to Nathan Jones last night, and Nathan, from the get-go, he's like, guys, just go ahead, buy whatever, just buy it. And I told him we're gonna have to put a thing on the video that says, do not take financial advice from either of us. So,
and that's the way I would normally be. But like I said, with my new job, I used to get paid every week. Now I get paid every other week. So I got to budget a little bit better. Gotcha. I know there's the big Black Friday sale coming up, so I wanted to budget for that. And I got to be good, but another part of me wants to go online and order like $300 worth of stuff and pay for 4 through PayPal and do it that way. But I'm like, no, I can't do that.
Yeah, I hear you. Yep. I don't need to get myself in trouble.
Yeah, that is true.
That's funny. Well, cool, man. Well, Ryan, thanks so much for taking the time to do this. And friends, if you're watching, go check out Ryan's channel, subscribe to him, follow him on Instagram. He's got a ton of great content all the time. And one of the things I love about your collection is I've always loved about it is you're pulling films from everywhere, like you're getting stuff packages from around the world. And so you're always getting to see cool versions of films. And there's a couple that you picked up that I've almost went out and bought that I've ratcheted back. I'm like, no, I can't go do it, but I kind of want to do it. What's that? Is that Black Klansman?
The Everything Blue Black Klansman.
No way.
Steelbook.
That's amazing.
Yes, I just got that in the mail today. So,
well,
I buy from everywhere. You're correct. Amazon Germany. I order from Korea, Japan, UK, all over the place. It's postage is getting me a little bit more than the actual movies on some of those things.
That's true. Well, the 2 that I've seen you show, I'm pretty sure I've seen you show both of these that I really want to pick up, but I haven't. I've kept pumping the brakes. Is Patterson and Rudderless are the 2 from overseas that I'd love to grab those,
and they're both Plain Archive. So if you went on Plain Archive's website and they still have them, they would be in the same box, and it wouldn't cost you as much on shipping. Instead of ordering having to order from 2 different places. But yeah, Plain Archive. I think it's plainarchive.com. Yeah, I mean, you just Google it, it would pop up. But yeah, I think they both came from Rudderless is fantastic. Since we only got a DVD release in the States, I had to buy it from overseas. And then that Patterson, such a beautiful movie. More people need to watch that.
It is. I have this like beat up Goodwill version of it on Blu-ray, and I love it. But when I was looking at that one, I was like, oh, it's such a gorgeous release. I'd love to have that.
Yeah.
So maybe someday. So
I think I even got Tim to buy it too. Poor Tim. I've made him buy so much stuff. It's not even funny.
That's hilarious. And there's one, and you get to, I think, is that the site you get to pick versions of? Like, isn't there a rudderless version that comes with like a guitar pick?
So there's two different slip versions. They both come with guitar picks, but the outside slip is actually different. I've got one that's got Billy Crudup on it, I think. And then there's another version that's got Anton Yelchin on the front of it.
Okay.
But basically slip A and slip B is basically what it is.
Okay.
Super nice. And then the Patterson, I think there's just the standalone steelbook. There's like two different slip covers, and then they've got a really, really, really nice, like it looks like a little mini wooden foot locker, like military foot locker that comes with a bunch of little extra stuff like his notebook and some other things in it. That one's a little expensive.
Well, I haven't, this is like a door that I have not opened yet. And there's a part of me that's like, do not open this door. You're going to go down
It really, when I'm ordering from like Plain Archive or Kimchi or Nova Meat or something like that, I wait until I'm going to buy 4 or 5 titles, because you buy 2 titles, shipping is going to be $30. Okay. You buy 5 titles, it may only be $40. They go by, weight or whatever, but the more you buy, you can justify the shipping on it. If you're only buying one thing, it kind of like you're paying almost as much for shipping as the one item.
Gotcha.
So you just kind of got to be picky and just be careful. Of course, I mean, you can get a lot of stuff. You look on eBay and that. I know there's people that resell from the States and whatever also, but they usually mark up on a premium.
Gotcha. And these are all from Plain Archive. These would be like region free.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Because they're in Asian, which Asia is region A. There are, I should say, Japan, Korea, and Malaysia, or whatever that little island thing that hangs off there.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thanks, man. And again, friends, go hit up Ryon's channel and Instagram account. He's got awesome collection and always good content. So yeah.
All right.
Well, thank you, man. And I hope you have fun in the sale, and I hope you pick up the titles you're looking to pick up. So
hopefully.
And then next month we'll all be whining to each other about all the trouble we got ourselves into.
Yeah. I forgot to pay my electric bill. Yeah. Oh no.
I haven't eaten in 3 weeks, but man, oh man, look at my collection.
Yes, exactly.
Well, cool, man. I look forward to seeing the haul video.
All right.
Thanks, Ryon.